Micah, welcome to day 3 where we're going to be talking about drums on the bush. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to load a drum rack, how to begin playing, step sequencing, recording, as well as edit individual notes. Hit browse to open your browser and use the encoders to find your instrument by scrolling through your columns just like we did yesterday in day 2. I'm going to go to my drum rack and push this green button to load. Now I get this little rack, it's 16 pads, and if I had more pads I can move up and down to change my 16 pad display using the touch strip. All these empty pail pads you can fill up, and I'll show you how to do that later. Now your pad is loaded and you can begin to play and check out what samples you've got. You can record by pushing the red circle button. You can use the top left metronome button to start the metronome. Click, tick, 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 click, tick, 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 click. When you're done recording and you don't have a fixed length track like me, hit record again to stop the recording. You should see the notes play back above the drum pad in the drum sequencer. On the right you can see your loop length and you can change it by holding down one pad and pushing down another. You can also select different parts of the clip by pushing the various illuminated pads in this whitish row. You can see the loop brace change in the DAW here. Instead of recording your drum performance, you can also use the step sequencer. The step sequencer is the top unilluminated part of the drum pad. Tap the pad that you want to write notes for, and you can see all the notes in the step sequencer that correspond to that pad. So let's get a new clip to use the step sequencer with. Push New. Now I can push the pad I want to paint with and tap the corresponding beats in the step sequencer to input notes into my drum clip. I'll be going into detail on what exactly the step sequencer is tomorrow in day 4. Now if I want a repeated note, I can push Repeat. It will light up to indicate that it is enabled. Now pushing and holding a note will repeat it. Your pad will also be pressure sensitive, so the harder you push down, the higher the velocity will be. By pushing Accent, all the pad notes I play will have the same velocity even if I push harder. You can switch between recording and step sequencing, and you can toggle between clip sequences to view or edit your notes. Now here, the different colors represent different velocities. The darker the blue in the step sequencer, the higher its velocity. If you want to take away notes, you can just tap on the blue pads and re-tap the note to add it again. I forgot to mention earlier that the lights on the touch strip indicate where your notes in your drum pad are. The illuminated notes will represent notes in your step sequence, and this makes it easy for you to quickly toggle your drum pad to the samples containing those notes. So if I want to delete all these notes, I can press and hold delete, and then hit the pad whose notes I want to delete. To undo this action, push the undo button. They're all back again, and this is different to deleting individual notes in the step sequencer. Now let me quickly switch repeat off. You can select and push a note down and edit the velocity range. Here you can also edit the nudge, length, and fine-tune settings. If you want to do these edits for an individual note only, then choose that note in the step sequencer, hold it, and change the values with the encoders. One thing I want to point out, you can also quantize your notes with a quantize function, and you can also add swing with a swing encoder here. I'll be going into detail on the quantize function on day 5. This encoder here is your tempo function, so feel free to change it when you feel your project isn't quite up to speed. So now let me start a new clip, and I want to predetermine the length of this clip. So if I push here fixed length is now off. Make sure fixed length is on by pushing the fixed length pad and checking your push display. You can change the fixed length of the clip by pushing and holding fixed length and selecting the relevant bar with the pad below the length. So now it will only record one bar and will keep overdub recording that one bar as long as record is on. But if I have fixed length off and I go to a new clip, then this clip doesn't have a length yet. I can just hit record and it's going to keep recording until I decide to stop by pushing record again or stopping the clip. I'm going to one of my previous clips by going to session view and pushing a clip. I just want to reiterate the difference between clip length and loop length. This clip length only changes the brace of the clip, as you can see in the session view. So if I add notes here and then make the loop brace smaller, you won't hear the notes during playback, but they're still there. They're just not being played. Okay, now as promised, I'm going to show you how to fill these pads. So to fill a pad, click and hold it. And you see here at the top it says empty pad. I've selected the empty pad. Now push browse and you can look inside your DAW for a sample. Choose something and load it. Now there is a note over there and you can add it normally in the step sequence and see the lights in the touch strip indicating that there's a note being played further down on the drum rack. To duplicate a pad, push duplicate, then the clip you want to duplicate while holding duplicate, and then push the pad you want to duplicate the first pad to. Now these two pads are the same. This will replace the sound only. The step sequencer notes will still stay the same. And finally, I just want to talk about the colors. So inside the actual drum pad, the blue is your selected pad, the red is when it's recording, green is when it's playing, pale yellow indicates an empty pad, and the different blue colors in the step sequencer indicate the different velocities of the notes. Orange at the top here is what's selected. Now I know this is a lot of information, don't worry, I still need to tell you about the 64 pad view as well as this velocity view, I'll get to that. But primarily make sure you have fun and get familiar with these concepts and actions. Tomorrow in day 4, we're going to be looking at step sequences in more detail, and Barbie, Batman and I will see you then.